The iPad Pro is a jack of all trades, but it's actually a master of none of them. It has the same problems it's kind of always had. It's still limited in its file management system, though nowhere near as much as it once was. It still has some external display frustration, like specifically you can't put it into clamshell mode when you're connected to a monitor. You have to keep the iPad open at all times, and there's still a limit of how many apps you can have open at once, though again, nowhere near as bad as it once was. So that's why I think it still can be the best all-in-one computer, but big asterisk here, it's still not gonna be good enough for everyone. But for even 90% of you out there, it just might be the computer you want to get. And I think a lot of that is thanks to iPadOS 26. Some of the other problems that are still the same though are the so-so pro apps like DaVinci Resolve here still is not quite where DaVinci Resolve for the desktop is. Although, as you can see, I've gotten it looking pretty close here with all these different pages and stuff that I have. It can do almost everything that the desktop version can, but with very little, if any, plugin support. Same with Final Cut Pro, it has like no plugin support. You can't set presets. There's just weird things that feel arbitrarily limited for the Pro apps on the iPad. And people want this device to replace a laptop because, well, it's as expensive as a laptop now, if not more, than a MacBook Air. Like this, by itself, is the price of a MacBook Air at its base model. And it comes with less RAM and less screen space. So it's kind of hard to recommend just an iPad over a MacBook Air, to be honest, because that's one of the best value products Apple sells right now. But there is still a lot of things that this iPad can do that the MacBook Air can't, and it is almost capable of doing everything the MacBook Air can do. So what changed with iPadOS 26? And we're going to specifically talk about 26.2 because there's a few things that changed in this update for multitasking in general that I think is a really big upgrade for the iPad. Personally, I think this is the best that we've seen iPad multitasking ever. For example, let's say I open this app here and it opens full screen, great, but now I'm going to take some notes on the side. So let's just drag up notes, and as you can see, there's a couple different things it triggers. This is split view. It's back. It works just like how it did before. That's fantastic. You can resize it, you can move it, it's just like how it was before. Two apps side by side. It does not by default allow you to do a third app side by side, but if you do add a third app, you can go to this three-dot menu and then tap 3 side by side, and now you have a 3-way split view that you can divide up however you want. There's another feature that was gone initially in iPadOS 26, but is also now back. And let's try that again with the calendar here. Let's drag it over, and you'll see when you drag it to this arrow at the side of the screen, it goes into this bubble, and now you have slide over. And this will always stay on top, no matter if you start working on this document here, whatever, it's going to stay floating on top of everything. You can move it from side to side, hide it off the screen for a moment, bring it back, just like slide over used to be. The only difference with this version of slide over is you can't have multiple apps in slide over that you cycle between, which might frustrate some people, but you can also bring any app into that slide over whenever you want by doing the exact same thing. And boom, there you have it. And you can also slightly resize this slide over window, which you were never able to do that before, and change how the aspect ratio is. You can make it just a little box in the corner that you move from corner to corner and hide it whenever you want it to. Like, it's just a really nice option to have if you need something pinned at the top. In fact, I think they should really call it pinning the window instead of slide over. It's not really sliding over anymore, but you do swipe it to the side, so maybe that's what they're going for there. But the point is, it has, I think, the best of all iPadOS worlds here. And this is just the windowed mode. It's not Stage Manager. Turning that on kind of looks like it changed nothing. Because guess what? Slide over still works in Stage Manager. You just also have stages that you can have set up, which is kind of like different desktops and things like that. But guess what? Your slide over window will always stay present there as well. And so if I go back to DaVinci Resolve, even in this professional app, this slide over window is staying here at all times. And as you can see, as soon as you enter something into slide over, it will kick out whatever was in slide over before. So like I said, it does not allow multiple things to be in slide over. And again, it's more of a pinned app at this point. Let me know what you guys think about this state of iPadOS multitasking. I haven't made a video on all the little updates from iPadOS because honestly, it's been kind of meh. And some of these multitasking things have been kind of cool as they started to come out. And now when they're all here, I can see the vision of why this update is good for iPad. However, there's still lots of weird limitations. Like, for example, DaVinci Resolve won't be freely resizable. Same with Final Cut Pro. You can go portrait mode, except not for DaVinci. That also just gets mad at you and asks you to move it to landscape mode. So there's very limited resizability with that. This is especially frustrating to me when I'm working on an external monitor with an editing software like this. I'd want it to just fill up the whole display I'm on, but it doesn't. It's boxed in to that iPad aspect ratio. Very frustrating. But besides some of those random quirks, having access to a menu bar is really handy, and you don't need a keyboard or a trackpad to access all these new features. It's not like it's locked to that. I think they did a really good job of still making the iPad feel like the iPad, but now it can do even more, and it's multitasking is pretty much where I want it. The only thing I would ask is that they get rid of some of that weirdness on certain apps. Don't have it locked down at all. Don't allow developers to even lock it down. Let's just make them free-flowing windows no matter what. I think that would be the best case scenario, is to see all apps fully resized, because that will make external monitor support also such an improvement. Some of the Pro apps have gotten better, but I also still feel like generally we're kind of limited to the point where I no longer really think the software itself is limiting the iPad, save for some really elaborate things like when you have to access Terminal on the Mac or having multiple streams of audio playing at the same time. That's a no-brainer. They need to fix that. It really is frustrating. I am the kind of person who can listen to music while editing a video, so I basically have to play it on a separate device if I'm using an iPad, or I have to edit on my Mac. But this is a great all-in-one device, and that's the point here, because guess what? It's not limited to that form factor. It's also a great note-taking device. And I feel like it's so easy now to just resize things, especially when they are free-flowing. It's not glitching at all for me. It's just, when I want it full screen, it's there. When I don't, it's not. And it just works. This is a test of the note-taking on 5.6. I mean, the note-taking hasn't changed a lot for iPads in years, but I just feel like it's good. It's so good, in fact. I would use it more often if I didn't have better devices for note-taking. So again, not a master of this, but a really good option for note-taking. I think the best option is some kind of e-ink tablet. I'm surrounded by a couple actually right now, like the Penstar eNote Pro, which has color and things like that, and the Supernote devices, the Nomad, one of my favorite software experiences for note-taking. So I think these devices have an even better writing feel and sound, and some of their tool sets are just really good for note-taking. But the iPad can do note-taking and then immediately switch to typing up a script, and then immediately switch to actually filming the video if you really want it to be, and then immediately switch to editing the video. Is it the best camera? No. It'd be better if you had a dedicated camera or an iPhone camera. Is it the best editing device? No. I would say it's the MacBook. Is my favorite thing to edit videos on. Is it the best note-taking device? Nope. That's the e-ink tablet. But can it do all those things? 90% of the way. Yes. Yes, it can. So that's the perspective here. It's a great all-in-one. So if you need something that's just one device, one small, thin, super light device that you take on a trip or take to the coffee shop or take on the go, this is the one I'd recommend. But if you got a big bag that can hold all the separate equipment, well then yeah, a dedicated note-taking tablet, a dedicated editing MacBook, and a dedicated camera should all be things you probably bring for a more full-featured and higher quality production. But you can do it all here. That's what's cool. And the M4 and M5 chips in these iPads are insane, especially if you go up to a terabyte where you get 16 gigabytes of RAM, or you get the M5, which starts at 12. Both those, 12 and 16, they're gonna be really, really good devices. You're gonna be able to edit videos, big projects, 4K, 8K projects on these iPads. Your only limit is gonna be your editing software. You're gonna find that's what will limit you in a lot of those productions. And the display, this OLED, tandem OLED, is so good. In fact, I still sometimes would use it as a reference for color grading and doing thumbnails and stuff like that. I'd actually prefer to do all my thumbnails on my iPad if the Affinity app was updated. I use Affinity for all my thumbnails now, but they haven't made the new version for the iPad yet, and they're supposed to make it free like the desktop version as far as I know. So once that one comes out, I'll be downloading on the iPad. So I just have the Pixelmator app, and especially compared to Affinity, it just does not have the same feature set. So I have definitely made thumbnails on here, and I would like to keep doing it, but I need a little more oomph. So the hardware, also not the limiting factor. And the software, not the limiting factor. The ultimate limiting factor for the iPad is just the apps that don't take it seriously enough and don't put all their features in. There's no reason to dumb down the apps for the iPad. If they're just a blown up phone app, you're missing the potential of the iPad. And that's how a lot of people treat the iPad apps, as just big phone apps, which is a big shame. But I think this is still a great fit for students. I think pastors, church staff could greatly utilize an iPad like this. I think creators who use a lot of mobile apps and phones and things like that, because especially with Final Cut Pro, if you're only using the iPhones to film, they can all sync together on Final Cut Pro for iPad, and you can do really easy multicam editing there. So that's a great workflow. And even some business owners, some writers and designers, if you have the app that runs fine here, then you're good to go. I would totally recommend this all in one device, or at least as your portable solution. In fact, if there's anything that you're wondering if it works on the iPad, comment down below. Let me test it for you before you go out and make $1,000 plus purchase and realize, oh shoot, it can't even do the one thing I needed to do. Just ask, and I'll see if I can test that for you. But there is definitely still a place for a traditional laptop or desktop computer. In fact, I use one. It's what's running this camera right now. I can see a preview of it over here, and what I'm previewing my phone camera on. It's powering an external monitor. It's doing a lot for me right now, and I need it. I can't quite do everything or download every camera software or certain plugins for my DaVinci Resolve on the iPad yet. It's just not there. But again, I don't really feel like that's the software's problem or the hardware. It's just people not making the right apps or not optimizing the apps properly for iPadOS. And if they did that, I would totally use the iPad as my only computer. But I keep reaching for this iPad and finding ways to use it because I love the form factor. I love being able to remove it from the keyboard and just use it like a tablet. And that's probably the thing it is a master of. It's a good tablet. But I don't think it's cheap enough for people to only buy it to be a tablet. Unless you got the extra money. I mean, go for it. But for most people, it's a lot of money if you can't use it professionally or things like that at all. You might as well get a couple-year-old iPad Pro or an iPad Air or something like that, because those are just a lot more affordable with so close to the same features, and it makes sense if you're not using it professionally. But if you are using it professionally, these devices, these last M4 and M5 iPad Pros, are so good. The screen technology is so good, and I always want to find ways to keep using this iPad. But it frustrates me that I feel restricted on those certain apps. Let me know what you guys think of this state of iPad in 2025, 2026 at this point almost, and if you guys can relate to this at all or anything like that. This has been on my mind for a while. I want to make a video just kind of talking again about where the iPad's at with things. It's had some more software update. It's getting closer, but it's still just not quite there. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and comment down below, and definitely subscribe to the channel. It truly does help us grow and to be able to reach more people. And if you like the setup I have here at all, it's all going to be linked in the description down below. And as always guys, have a great rest of your day.